I'm now at Kota Kinabalu. I'll be going to Kundasang to visit the Desa dairy farm. This is to answer this one very important question. Does chocolate milk come from brown cows? Along the way, I'll show you the places that I've visited and the food that I've eaten. This should be a pretty fun adventure. Our first stop to Kundasang was the Tamparuli suspension bridge. According to legend, Solang Koi, a beautiful local woman, and her British officer husband were to cross the bridge on their wedding day. But the bridge was weakened by strong currents and heavy rain, and it collapsed. She was swept away by the raging river, and her body was never recovered. It is believed that Solang Koi's spirit still lingers near the bridge. She guards it and watches over the town. This bridge remains a poignant symbol of love, loss, and the strength of the local community. And at the end of the bridge, you come to this market. Walk a couple of minutes further into town, and there's a little, unassuming coffee shop called Swee Hing. They are well known for their delicious fried noodles, particularly the Tuaran mee. There are several versions of this Tuaran mee. There is the mee sua, the hor fun, and the egg noodles. We started with the mee sua, which are these thin white noodles that are stir-fried to perfection. This dish highlighted all the fresh ingredients, and it has a slight wok hei aroma.
Okay, try the hor fun now. Oh. This is actually black bean based. You can see it. Nice. It only has that little bit of black bean funk that most people do not like.
These egg noodles are springy, slightly chewy, and has a unique fragrance due to the use of egg yolks and lard in their preparation. The noodles are fried until they're slightly charred, giving that smoky wok fried aroma.
This has more of a kakapi taste to it.
This dish is iconic in Sabah, and it has become a must-try for both locals and tourists visiting the region. Before heading to Desa Farm, we stopped by the Mount Kinabalu Geoparks viewing platform to get this grand view of Mount Kinabalu, the highest peak in Malaysia. And our next stop is Desa Cattle Dairy Farm. It was a rainy day, but I got to feed the cows with milk and hay. Tried some fantastic ice creams and the smoothest and creamiest yogurt I've ever tried.
Okay, this is the chocolate. Is this ice cream or is this yogurt? Oh, never mind. Let's try this and find out. Okay, this is nice. This is gelato-ish ice cream with Oreo topping. Okay, this is the strawberry yogurt that they have here. It's yogurt. Strawberry taste isn't very strong, but it's creamy and milky. Not bad. This is quite nice. But my favorite is still this chocolate with the Oreo topping.
But the mission today is to look for experts to answer the question: does chocolate milk come from brown cows? Hi. By the way, do you know if brown cows produce chocolate milk?
Huh?
Oh. I was told that brown cows produce chocolate milk.
No, it's still white.
It's still white?
Yes.
Okay. So there you have it. Brown cows do not produce chocolate milk. But do black and white cows produce latte? We stayed the night at Mount Kinabalu Heritage Resort and Spa. It offered a spectacular view of the surrounding area. Food, however, was pretty limited. My suggestion, if you should come here, is to have your meals in the village below before checking in. The next stop was Pouring Hot Springs. This Pouring Hot Spring is a legacy of the Japanese occupation. They built these hot spring baths as a place to relax and heal. Pouring Hot Spring gets its name from the giant pouring bamboo that grows abundantly in this area. These bamboos can grow up to a meter a day. The 40-meter canopy walk and the waterfall was the highlight for me. On our way back to Kota Kinabalu, we stopped by a roadside store famous for its smoked wild boar.
We are like in the middle of nowhere.
Stop by this roadside store and we're going to have barbecue wild boar.
Look at how dark the roof is from all the soot from the smoke. This whole place just smells of barbecue.
I ordered a plate of pork belly. That's because the fat produces the best flavor. The meat is cooked twice. It is first smoked over local hardwood like mangrove or rubber wood for hours. This gives the meat its signature earthly and slightly sweet flavour, which makes it stand out as compared to the other smoked meats. And when you order the meat, they will cook it a second time, this time by searing it over an open flame to add a layer of charred flavour over the smokiness that was developed earlier. The meat is served freshly smoked and charred, sliced into chunks, with sweet black sauce, sambal belacan dipping sauce, and lime to cut through the greasiness. It is also served with rice wrapped in sampor leaf. The leaf imparts a subtle, earthy aroma to the rice. This makes it so much more flavorful.
Oh yes, and that's our rice. And here we go. This is just plain rice, but I taste the flavor of the leaf in the rice. Well, I think I'll take a bit of this. And put this on top. How do I do this?
Smoked wild boar reflects the jungle-to-table lifestyle of Sabah's indigenous communities. They get the wild boar meat from oil palm farmers in the surrounding area. The farmers will trap the wild boar when they come into the plantation to eat the seeds of the oil palm. Himbaan Bongol's roadside setup, rusty vibe, and unique food offering makes it a memorable food experience and the perfect way to end the day.